It was awesome.
I'm really sad I missed that story, actually. What up, everybody? We're here with Mandi. Say hi.
Hi.
Nobody's hopped on yet. I just turned it on. But she got Brock drawn, so I figured that I would go live because he's going to give a lesson, and it's a good lesson. I've heard it a couple of times. Maybe like 20, but it's good, and everybody should hear it. So if you guys want to stick around and listen, stick around and listen. And Mandi was just talking about her wild and crazy days when she was younger.
Wild and crazy. That's when toilet paper didn't cost so much money.
You're like, no TV, Dada.
That's when
No
you
TV.
don't go to jail for taking toilet paper back then.
Nope. All right.
So, this is the 6 human needs. This has changed my life. And I use this every day without even having to think about it, and it helps me understand why people do what they do. Not what they're doing, and that's what everyone focuses on, is what that person did. Why is that person doing that?
Sure.
Why is this person self-sabotaging or acting out or calling me names? And it all boils down to this. And so the cool thing is that everybody in the world shares these same 6 needs. It's not the Maslow's hierarchy, obviously, but it's very similar. It's more of a psychological hierarchy of needs.
I think these fit more to the why.
Exactly. So, and we will do anything to whatever 2 needs that we are valuing the most, we will do anything to get them met. Why do people cheat? It has nothing to do with the physical part. That is a result, not the why.
Right. Of
Right.
acceptance. Love and acceptance.
It depends on what needs. Most people will cheat because they're not getting their needs met, and this is why we were talking about earlier, is taking accountability. I'm not saying it excuses the act.
Of course.
Doesn't excuse the behavior. That person needs to be accountable. However, do we need to condemn them? No, we can understand them a little bit better. They still need to pay for the consequences, right?
Sure.
But we can understand them so things can change, whether that be the situation, ourselves, our outlook, help that person. And so people cheat because their needs aren't getting met, which usually are the top 2, significance and certainty, or certainty and significance. And those are not in any particular order. I put them that way just for myself and how it was explained to me. So anybody could value other needs above other ones in any order, right? Most people went to Tony Robbins' Unleash the Power Within, and at the time, I don't know if any other event has beat it. That was the most attendees he had at one event at one time. There was over 10,600 people in the stadium. It was awesome, amazing. And I learned about it before then, but he had us do this exercise of finding out what our top 2 needs were. And it wasn't a surprise to me, only because I had done my homework prior to, that 90% of everyone in that building was significance and certainty. So how we get these needs met? You can either do it one of 3 ways through 3 different vehicles. It can be positive, neutral, or negative. So let's take, so going back to the cheating, why would somebody cheat? Because they don't feel certain that they're loved, that they're good enough, and there's your first 2 needs right there. If you don't feel good enough, then you don't feel like you're loved.
Mm-hmm.
So then somebody shows you attention, because that's where it starts. It starts with a conversation, usually. The emotional part, the psychological or communication connection. That's where it all starts. You're getting needs met somewhere else, and that's what you're going to do, even if you know it's wrong.
It's like you're feeding the symptoms or using the symptoms instead of the problems.
And most people they know it's wrong or not right, not the right way to go about doing that.
Sure.
But they don't understand psychologically why they do it. They just think they're bad, something's wrong with them. There's nothing wrong with anybody. We accept that limitation that other people have placed on us. And depending on the 2 needs that you value, or an individual values more over than the other ones, because again, you'll do anything to fulfill them. Drugs, for example, that meets more than 2 needs. And if you meet more than 2 needs on a high level, it creates an addiction. So let's take smoking, for example. what needs does smoking meet? Well, let me go through what these all mean first, and then you can answer. Significance is being important, valued, different, unique, okay, standing out. Certainty, obviously.
Stability.
We all have to have a certain level of certainty. Like, let's say the earthquake was happening again right now as I'm talking. Probably would be paying attention to me and what I was saying, right? We all need a certain level of certainty, and then God, in her infinite intelligence, gave us the need for variety and uncertainty. Because if we always knew how everything was going to play out, it'd be boring. It would be pointless to be here.
Could you imagine if there were a bunch of Mandis running around?
And like,
I
so
would
do
love
you like surprises?
Some. Yep.
Right. We like the surprises we like.
Yeah.
But
Exactly.
we need them because
Exactly.
it helps us grow. It keeps
Totally.
life interesting, even when they're
Totally.
challenges or problems.
Right.
Problems are just challenges. And then we all,
Opportunities.
yeah, exactly. And then there's love and connection. And most people settle for connection and not love. And then you have growth and contribution. So, personally growing, you're either growing or dying. There's no in between. Stale water, standing water will go stale and it can kill you. And we all need a sense of contribution. That's why these groups band together. They all have a commonality, something common. So let's take smoking, for example. What 3 needs would you say it meets?
Love, connection, uncertainty, and variety.
Yeah,
Significance.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Did you say certainty too? So all 4? The first 4?
I would say, like, the feeling that you get. I don't know if that falls under
Oops, sorry.
Absolutely.
So
under your
sorry.
significance or your contribution, but I think that that's probably what comes from.
So
And I think it would depend on where you're at and when you're consuming or what you're consuming for.
right.
Right? If you're consuming because it's a habit and you're trying to bury feelings, that's very different than if you're consuming out of stress from work because you're being abandoned at home.
Right.
Right? I mean, I think that any of them could fill based on what you're
Absolutely.
where you're at, right?
So the main 4 that I pick up on, I don't think there's a whole lot of growth with smoking, or contribution, to be honest, in my opinion. Doesn't mean that if somebody else could justify that it would be wrong. That's just my perspective. But significance, yeah, you're different. Even if you smoke a different brand than the group or pack that everyone else does, you set yourself apart than everybody else. You're different. You're unique.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, certainty. Every time you light up, even if you have to smoke a few, eventually you're going to get the feeling you're chasing. You know that it will change your biochemistry. Variety. You don't know when, where, and who you're going to need to smoke around, or when you go and smoke, who's going to be there, right? So you're getting variety. And get connection, because there's designated
you
smoking
talk with
places, and
people.
in order to have even establish a relationship or rapport with you, have to first establish something you have in common. And that is already there as soon as you step into that designated smoking area.
I think you even fall into under significance or contribution to your contribution of that product, right?
Right.
I'm important because I, as an adult, now supply to minors or my friends, and now I have significance, whether it's drugs or
Right.
friends or relation, anything.
You have
right?
something
it
that
really,
nobody else does.
Right.
So that
Or
way
that
your
people
value
depend on you
right,
for.
exactly.
Right.
So depending on how we value these, which 2 we value even more, and how because we can get them met, again, one of 3 ways: positively, negatively, or neutral, or in a neutral way. And this really helped me kind of, take that accountability as well as understand people, and helped my communication when I'm speaking and interacting with people, as well as helping them to facilitate their own change. Because if they don't understand why they're doing it, anybody can go sit and talk about their problems for 6 months, mom, or their life, or whatever, and how does that make you feel? We can talk about the problem all day long, but if we're not getting to the root cause of it and why, you can't fix it. You can't pull out the roots, you can't change them, you can't plant a new seed if you don't know what is going on and why they're doing that. Someone with abandonment issues is going to continue to have the same behavior until they understand why they're getting their needs, what value or needs they're valuing, in conjunction with how the vehicle they take to to get those needs met.
Okay. So now this brings up my issues that I want to talk about. How do you address or get to the bottom of the root of this when somebody is acting irrationally? So for example, if I am upset because I don't feel loved or wanted or appreciated or valued or connected, and so in turn I push everybody away, and I do it, I'm nasty about it, I'm not very nice, and I recognize that I'm pushing them away, but what I actually want is to get them back.
From who? Who are you at? Who are you talking to?
Kids, friends, partners, relationships in general. And I think that I'm pretty broad now because I'm not in a serious relationship and my kids are